Desperate woman rushes millionaire to hospital. What happens next will leave you HEARTWARMED. The sun shone brightly over Maplewood during the annual community picnic, with laughter and delight swirling through the air. Emma, a 32-year-old single mother, stood at the diner booth, serving up plates of steaming food with a smile. She balanced her busy life with grace, nurturing her spirited 8-year-old son, Jake, as they danced through the challenges of day-to-day life. Everything felt perfect until the piece shattered like glass. Suddenly, Mr. Thompson, the elderly neighbor famed for his captivating tales of old-time Maplewood, spiraled to the ground. Gasps erupted from the crowd, and panic overtook the festive atmosphere. Emma's heart raced. She couldn't just stand by. As people gathered and whispered, she realized the nearest ambulance was miles away. Swallowing her fear, she rushed to her old, beat-up car. Just then, she collided with Marcus, the town's affluent businessman. Clad in an expensive suit, he was preparing for a gala that evening, his face lined with indifference. But something flickered in Emma's eyes: urgency, fear, hope rolled into one. He couldn't ignore her desperation. A reluctant nod followed, and they were off. The engine roared to life, and they sped through town. Emma's words flowed like a wildfire. She spoke of community, love, and resilience, while Marcus offered visions of wealth and status, detached as a distant star. Their contrasting worlds collided in that small car, a whirlwind of ideas and emotions. Could he fathom her challenges as a single mother, trying to keep food on the table, not just for herself, but for Jake? Did his empire of skyscrapers build the walls that kept him from gratitude? As they zoomed closer to the hospital, the atmosphere shifted. Arriving seemed like arriving on a battleground. Chaos and confusion wrapped around them like a thick fog. Time crawled as Emma fought blindly for Mr. Thompson's attention, her pleas muffled by indifferent staff. Anxiety knotted in her chest, and she struggled to breathe as thoughts of failure gripped her. But Marcus, the privileged mogul who navigated life on a golden jet stream, suddenly felt weighty awareness crash around him. He observed Emma, steadfast and relentless in her attempts to save a life, and like a sapling yearning for sunlight, he began to question his own existence. What had he lost in pursuit of success? The deeper meanings of sacrifice, community, and love sprang forth from her words, unraveling the guard he built around himself. Before they could exchange more about their hopes or regrets, another crisis erupted right before their eyes. Emma's heart sank at the sight of overwhelmed nurses and chaotic calls for help, but amidst the chaos, she could see something stirring within Marcus. They needed a solution, and fast. Suddenly, in her moment of greatest need, it dawned on Emma. If they could harness the strength of the community, they might create change. United through this shared experience, could they inspire the town to act, to bridge the divide and provide for those in need? Her heart raced, fingers trembling with the urgency of the moment. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let's continue. As Emma turned to Marcus with fire in her eyes, he understood that this moment could mark a new chapter, one not defined by wealth or privilege, but by shared humanity. They could weave together both worlds, intertwining hope with possibility. Emma's determination radiated like sunlight breaking through a storm cloud. Could they rise together to fight for something greater than themselves? The uncertainty hung in the air, heavy yet electrifying. Would they be able to weave their two lives into a tapestry of hope, or would the chasm of societal divide win out once more? The answer loomed just beyond their grasp, stirring a whirlwind of possibility. Emma's heart pounded like a drum in her chest as she glanced over at Marcus. The world around them shifted, shadows of uncertainty mixing with glimmers of hope. Time seemed to stretch, the chaos of the hospital blending into a surreal blur as she met his gaze. Somewhere inside her, a flicker of vulnerability ignited within Marcus, a recognition that this moment was a turning point. "Marcus," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. "We can't just sit here. We need to do something. Anything." The reality of Mr. Thompson's fragile state echoed in their minds, and the stakes felt impossibly high. Marcus clenched his jaw, considering her words. Their differences echoed loudly in the hospital hallways, yet Emma's passion began to chip away at his indifference. "Okay," he finally replied, his voice low but resolute. "What do you want to do?" Emma drew a deep breath. "Let us rally the community. If we can get enough support, together we can provide resources fund for the hospital, help for families like mine. If this town can respond to a single emergency, imagine what we can do for all those struggling. They just need a reason to act." Sparks of inspiration flickered in Marcus's eyes, but skepticism lingered. "How?" "Let us start with an event," she suggested, her heart racing as ideas flowed. "A fundraiser, a drive to bring in donations. We bring the community together. People love to gather, especially now when they see a real need." As Marcus listened, a wave of possibilities washed over him. He thought of the wealth at his disposal, how he could leverage his connections to amplify their efforts. For the first time in a long while, he felt the thrill of being part of something bigger than himself. "All right, let us do it," he agreed, enthusiasm thrumming beneath his pragmatic exterior. They set to work, their ideas bouncing off one another like lively fireworks. Emma pulled her phone from her pocket, reaching out to neighbors, friends, anyone she thought could help. Meanwhile, Marcus fired off emails, calling contacts in the community, his usual stony demeanor softening with each interaction. The chasm between them shrank, brick by brick, as they forged a connection built on shared purpose. Jake watched from the sidelines, confusion and curiosity playing across his young face. He sensed the energy buzzing around his mother. He felt both worry for Mr. Thompson and pride blooming as he saw Emma stepping up in a way he had never witnessed. Her bravery was contagious, igniting a spark in his heart, too. As evening fell and the sun dipped below the horizon, the duo stood outside the hospital, hearts racing in tandem. They brainstormed ideas for the event: a bake sale, a charity auction, even a talent show. Nearby, nurses and doctors bustled, their hard work a testament to why they were fighting. "Marcus, this is just the start. We can show people that this isn't just about one man. It's about all of us," Emma said, her determination blazing like a beacon through the twilight. "It's about the spirit of Maplewood." His eyes locked onto hers, an understanding forging deeper, beyond just business or charity. There was something profound happening. As they exchanged ideas, laughter bubbled up between them, and it felt like old friends, not strangers from opposing worlds. But just as elation began to settle in, a frantic voice shattered their moment. "Emma, Marcus, you need to come quick." Their hearts dropped. The uncertainty returned, heavier now. What new turmoil awaited them? Would their efforts to unite the community come too late? The shadows of doubt returned, testing the bonds they'd just begun to form. Together, they rushed to see what the chaos held, hoping against hope that they were ready for whatever was coming next. Emma and Marcus dashed through the hospital corridors, their footsteps echoing against the sterile floors. The frantic voice belonged to Dr. Lawson, who was waiting just outside the emergency room. Her face was a mask of concern that instantly knocked the wind out of Emma's hope. "Dr. Lawson, what is happening?" Emma asked, breathless, anxiety stirring in the pit of her stomach. "It's Mr. Thompson," Dr. Lawson replied, urgency spilling from her words. "He has taken a turn for the worse. We need to act fast." With barely a moment to process the news, they were ushered into the dimly lit room where Mr. Thompson lay, pale and unresponsive. Machines beeped steadily, but the noises felt ominous. Emma's heart sank. Was there still time to save him? She could see the fear in Marcus's eyes, mirroring her own. Are you ready? Dr. Lawson said, glancing between Emma and Marcus as if sensing their shared resolve. Ready for what? Marcus asked, his bravado cracking under the pressure. To help him. Her voice was steady. But I need both of your support. I need someone to talk to his family. They'll certainly want to be here. Emma stepped up. I'll do it. Marcus hesitated. And what about don't? Just trust her. Dr. Lawson interjected, her voice fierce but kind, recognizing Emma's determination. Emma nodded, nerves trembling in her hands. She rushed from the room, racing to track down Mr. Thompson's family. All she could think about was how brave he had been, fighting the odds to help those around him. It ignited a fire in her heart. She couldn't let them down now. When she found them in the waiting area, tears streamed down Mrs. Thompson's face. Surrounded by a small group of family members, they looked lost amidst the chaos. Mrs. Thompson, Emma said, her voice firm yet soft. Please, I'm here to help. I can bring you to him. They followed her down the hall, the tension thick as they walked. Emma led the way, wishing she could ease their pain. The fear was palpable, almost like a heavy blanket wrapped around them. Once inside the room, Mrs. Thompson's gasp echoed through the sterile air. Emma stepped aside, allowing the family to gather around the bed. The world outside faded as Emma stood back, her heart heavy with sympathy for them. She could only hope that their love would somehow reach him. Marcus approached, having just spoken to Dr. Lawson about logistics. He caught Emma's eye, a quiet question lingering there, asking if she was all right. She nodded, trying to reassure him even as her own heart ached. Emma, he said softly, I can't imagine what this must feel like for you and them. Just then, Mr. Thompson's breathing changed, a sharp intake of air followed by a cough. The room erupted in surprise. Emma's hopes lifted quickly before crashing down. His eyes fluttered open, confusion clouding his features as he looked around. Oh, thank God, Mrs. Thompson whispered. All tension spilled out of her like air from a deflated balloon. But just as hope flickered like a small candle, a machine nearby began to sound an alarm. No! Emma's cry burst forth, panic clawing at her chest, as if reaching into the very depths of her soul. Doctor Lawson rushed back in, pushing past the family as the scene turned chaotic once more. Emma and Marcus stepped aside, their hearts racing as they held their breath. Emma grabbed Marcus's arm, her eyes wide with fear. What more could they lose? As they looked at each other amidst the tensions rising, time seemed to hang in the air. They both felt the weight of what was happening, its potential to change everything. Would they be able to rally not just the community, but also themselves, to face whatever came next? The moment of truth was at hand, and neither was prepared for the answer that was about to emerge. Dr. Lawson burst through the door, steely determination etched on her face. The family huddled around the bed, uncertainty clouding their hopeful expressions. Emma's heart raced as she watched Dr. Lawson quickly assess Mr. Thompson's situation, her hands moving deftly over the equipment. His vitals are unstable. Dr. Lawson called to the nurses on standby. We need to increase the support to his lungs and prepare for the next steps. I need those meds stat. The urgency in her voice cut through the tension like a knife. Emma squeezed Marcus's arm tighter, fear gnawing at her insides. What if he doesn't make it? She whispered, dread creeping into her voice. Don't think like that, Marcus replied, his own anxiety evident. He's a fighter. Just like you said. A nurse joined Dr. Lawson, quickly administering the medication while the monitors beeped ominously. Emma could feel the rhythm of her heart sink with the alarm, an unsettling drumbeat echoing the fragility of life hanging in the balance that misses. Thompson's hands clutched her husband's, tears streaming down her face. Please, honey, fight. We're here for you. Her voice shook, raw and filled with unrestrained emotion. Witnessing such love crushed Emma's composure. She fought back tears, desperate for Mr. Thompson to pull through for them. Emma, we should step back, Marcus said gently, sensing the weight of the moment. They need their space. No. Emma's voice rose unexpectedly. She had felt the spark of hope when Mr. Thompson had momentarily awoken. She couldn't abandon that. They need us. We can't leave them. Marcus took a breath, trying to steady them both. Okay, then we stay. But we've got to be strong now. For them. As the medical team worked feverishly, Emma focused on the family, their love galvanizing her resolve. She watched Mrs. Thompson cradle Mr. Thompson's face, whispering sweet words, memories spilling forth like a flood, moments of laughter, joy, the lives they built together. It was touching and agonizing all at once. Suddenly, the alarms quieted and Dr. Lawson straightened, her expression shifting. We're stabilizing him. For now, she said, though there was an edge of caution in her tone. Thank you, Mrs. Thompson exclaimed, releasing a breath she didn't realize she'd been holding. You don't know how much this means to us. Dr. Lawson nodded, poised but compassionate. Let us not count our chickens just yet. We're not out of the woods. Emma's pulse quickened. There was still a long road ahead, and hope was fragile. Yet in that moment, with Mr. Thompson stable, a new kind of strength surged within her, determination to fight not just for him, but for everyone involved. Then Marcus leaned closer to Emma, his voice low and intense. We need to rally the community. They're going to need support. It's not just about Mr. Thompson anymore. It's about everyone he has touched. They both looked across the room, seeing the emotional toll this struggle had taken. Families united by love were about to become keys to resilience. Yes, Emma said, a flame igniting in her chest. We can start something here, something hopeful. It could become the very thing that lifts them all. But just as they made eye contact, a distant commotion echoed down the corridor, drawing their attention. A wave of chaos surged as more families arrived, each one carrying their own burden of hope and despair. What now? Emma murmured, sensing the shifting tides of emotion crashing around them. Would they be able to help everyone? Or would the weight of fear crush their newfound resolve? As the din grew louder, uncertainty settled in. Would they be able to transform their fears into strength? Or was this just the beginning of a much harder journey ahead? The chaos in the corridor intensified, voices of concern and urgency colliding in a jarring symphony. As Emma and Marcus peered through the door, a flurry of medical personnel rushed past them, pushing a gurney with another patient, a woman in distress. The face of the newcomer was pale, her eyes wide with fear as she reached for something no one else could see. Keep breathing. You're okay. You're going to be okay, a paramedic reassured her, but the tremor in his voice betrayed the weight of the situation. Emma's breaths came in quick bursts. What if this happens to Mr. Thompson again? Her heart raced anew, the weight of two families now looming over her. We can't be pushed aside. We have to do something. Marcus gripped her shoulders, grounding her. Emma, we can't help everyone if we don't take care of ourselves first. Yet Emma couldn't shake the feeling. But he has not just a father, a husband. Like she paused, recalling how her own father had faced a similar battle years ago, the helplessness of watching someone you love slip away. We need to step up. These families, they need something to hold on to. Before Marcus could respond, the emergency room doors swung open again, this time revealing a wealthy-looking man sprinting through the threshold, panic etched across his chiseled features. He was disheveled, suit rumpled, eyes darting. I need a doctor. My wife, she's lost consciousness. Emma felt the building energy in the air, a surge of hope threading through the tension. There's a chance he can make it if we can just pull together. He can't be alone. Dr. Lawson, overhearing, swiftly approached the distraught man. What is her name? Where's she? Lila. He gasped. We were at a gala, and she just fell asleep and didn't wake up? His voice cracked, reflecting the shallow breaths he took in as the team whisked away Lila's gurney. Emma was struck by the sight of love shattering against vulnerability. The affluent man was surrounded by wealth, but devoid of the comfort of certainty. A collective grip of desperation intertwined with the strength of human connection as more families gathered, each one whispering words of encouragement. We're all here, Emma found herself saying to the trembling crowd. We're all in this together. Marcus stepped beside her, inspired by her response. We need to show them they're not alone. We can start a vigil or a support group, something to channel all this fear into unity. Hope kindled brightly in Emma's heart. But just then, a raucous crash echoed from the far end of the hallway, sending a shudder of dread through everyone. Stay here, a nurse shouted before running toward the noise. What was that? Emma's breath hitched, the uncertainty rippling through her again. Is it another emergency? Marcus said, glancing toward the chaos. We can't lose focus. We have to think of a way to help. What can we do? Emma's throat tightened as the weight of their commitment began to settle, and would they have enough strength? Could their resolve withstand the storm of tragedy unfolding around them? In that moment, the melding of fear and a yearning for hope created an electric atmosphere. Together, they were poised for battle, yet outside forces pressed in. Whatever happens next, we have to stick together, Marcus insisted, meeting her gaze. No matter how dark it gets. Emma nodded, heart pounding, her own fears momentarily forgotten as the world outside faded. All she could focus on now was the flickering candle of hope. But just as she turned her attention back to the chaos, the charms of a fragile moment severed, revealing something shocking at the end of the corridor, a face she recognized, one that could change everything. Emma, wait, it can't be, Marcus said, watching the realization dawn on her face. What had she stumbled into this time? The stakes were rising, and danger loomed closer than they ever suspected. Emma's heart thundered in her chest as she squinted down the hallway. The sight was like a jolt of electricity coursing through her, and she barely registered Marcus's voice, tinged with alarm. Who is it, Emma? There, emerging from the shadows, was a familiar face, one from the past she had never expected to see again. It was Rachel, her childhood friend whose family had once been intertwined with hers during happier times. But the years had not been kind to Rachel. The lost sparkle in her eyes told Emma everything she needed to know. Something was very wrong. Rachel? Emma called out, a swell of emotions bubbling up. The memories came rushing back, laughter echoing through their shared childhood. The playdates, the secrets whispered on the playground. But this wasn't tea that time, not by a long shot. Rachel's face twisted in desperation, and her voice was barely a whisper as she reached them. Emma, I need help. My sister, she's been in an accident. They didn't say how bad, just that she faltered, her breath hitching as raw panic took hold. Tears welled in her eyes, spilling over like a broken dam. Hold on. Marcus stepped forward, his tone soothing but firm. Where is she? We can find a doctor to help. Rachel looked between them, her face a mosaic of hope and fear. I don't know. I came straight from the scene they called me, and I thought I would make it in time. But I can't lose her, Emma. I can't. Each word cracked under the weight of her anguish. Emma felt her emotions swell. She had just decided they couldn't turn away from despair, and now it was standing right in front of her. We'll find her. You're not alone in this, I promise. But as she spoke those words, a deep-seated fear twisted within her. Could she really deliver on that promise? Reality clawed at her. There were so many patients, so many desperate families, and now Rachel's sister was in the mix. The chaotic energy of the hospital was palpable, voices overlapping, the unyielding wail of machines sounding the alarm bells for desperate lives hanging in the balance. Let us go, Marcus urged, taking Rachel's arm. The three of them rushed down the corridor, weaving through the crowd. Emma's heart raced, not just from the brisk pace, but the weight of her own fear, the echo of voices that screamed. What if? As they rounded a corner, Emma glimpsed a doctor emerging from a nearby room, a look of grim determination on his face. Excuse me, she called out, her voice slicing through the din. The doctor halted, keeping his expression neutral as he sized up the situation. What is it? Is someone in trouble? Rachel stepped forward, desperation etched in every line of her face. My sister, please, Dr. Hall. We need to find her. Names. I need names, he replied crisply, flipping through his mental checklist. Rebecca Thompson, Rachel murmured, the name spilling from her lips like a prayer. The moment seemed suspended, filled with unspoken tension. Emma's thoughts raced. What if their worst fears were confirmed? "Wait here," Dr. Hall said. "I'll see what I can find out." With that, he disappeared back through the door, leaving them standing in the chaos. Emma felt a lump in her throat. There was nothing more they could do right now except wait. She glanced at Marcus, who was watching Rachel, concern etched on his face. "Do you think she'll be okay?" Emma finally spoke, a tremor underscoring her voice. "I don't know," Marcus admitted, though his eyes held strong determination. "But we'll stand by her. We're in this together." They formed a close huddle, the electricity of uncertainty crackling in the air. Emma felt the weight of Rachel's anguish pulling her under. They had stepped into a battle, and every moment was a test. Suddenly, the door swung open, and the doctor returned, a solemn look on his face. Emma's heart caught in her throat. This was it. Would they hear words of hope, or would everything crash down? "Emma?" Marcus whispered, squeezing her hand tightly. The doctor's mouth opened, and Emma braced herself. With each tick of the clock, the tension thickened. The answer they sought hung in the air like a fragile thread, ready to snap. The doctor took a breath, his eyes flicking to Rachel, who clutched her hands tightly, as if holding onto hope itself. "Rebecca is stable for now," he began, and a collective exhale seemed to leave the three of them. Rachel's eyes widened, brimmed with tears that reflected the flickering fluorescent lights above. But the doctor continued, his brow furrowing. "She did sustain serious injuries. A head trauma and some broken ribs. We've already started treatment, but there's a long road ahead. I'm sorry to say she's in critical condition." Emma felt the weight of Rachel's anguish crash down once more. The relief of stable quickly dissipated, leaving fear to fill the void. Rachel's face crumpled, tears streaming freely now as she sank against the wall. "I can't," she choked out, her voice raw. "I can't do this." Marcus stepped forward, gently placing a hand on Rachel's shoulder, a gesture of comfort. "You're not alone, Rachel. We're with you. We'll get through this together." Emma, her heart aching for her friend, knelt beside Rachel. "What do you need? We can do anything. Just tell us." Rachel turned to look at her, a flicker of vulnerability in her eyes. "I need to see her. I need to be with her." The pain in her voice cut deep, each syllable a reminder of their shared childhood, the sisterly bond they had both cherished. The doctor hesitated, glancing back toward the doors. "Visitation is limited to immediate family only. But I can make an exception. Let me arrange for you to see her, Rachel." "Thank you," Rachel whispered, the gratitude in her tone almost lost in the tempest of her emotions. As the doctor walked away, Emma stood back up, her gaze darting between Marcus and Rachel. "I'll go with you, Rachel. You shouldn't have to face this alone." Rachel nodded, tears mingling with the remnants of her hope. "Thank you, Emma. I don't know what I would do without you both." Marcus squeezed Emma's hand again, offering silent strength. They all knew the journey that lay ahead would be grueling, a weight heavier than anything they had faced before. And yet, deep inside, Emma felt a flicker of determination sparking in her chest. They were all bruised by the moment, but together they would fight through it. As they followed the doctor down the stark white hallway, the vibrant chaos of the hospital faded, leaving only the pulse of their collective resolve. The door to Rebecca's room stood ajar, its starkness a stark contrast to the warmth that Emma wished could envelop them. Rachel paused, drawing a shaky breath, her hands trembling at her sides. What if she doesn't recognize me?" Emma's heart ached anew. "You're her sister. No matter what, she'll know you're there. You share a bond deeper than words." The doctor reappeared, looking at them with compassion in his eyes. "It's time," he said softly. Rachel stepped forward, but the threshold seemed to stretch out like an eternity. Emma could see the internal battle playing out within her friend, fear mingled with the flickering light of hope. As they entered the room, the sight of Rebecca connected something deep within Emma, a surge of urgency racing through her. This wasn't just about Rachel and her sister. It was about the ties that bind families, the love that holds them together through even the stormiest of nights. Rachel's breath caught as she approached the bedside. Emma and Marcus followed closely, their presence a shield against the tidal wave of uncertainty. Rebecca lay there, fragile beneath the hospital sheets, and for a moment, time froze. Would their love be enough to carry them through whatever came next? Emma held her breath, tension coiling tightly in her chest, waiting to see if a flicker of recognition would cross Rebecca's face, but as if sensing the gravity in the air, a heart monitor began to beep erratically. The noise cut through the silence like glass shattering, leaving them all on edge. What would that sound mean for them? How much more could they handle? The heart monitor's frantic beeping echoed in the sterile room, a siren call that pulled Rachel into the vortex of panic. Emma's hands gripped her friend's arm, squeezing gently, trying to convey strength as their eyes locked. She could see the fear swirling in Rachel's gaze, the desperate need for a miracle. "Stay calm, Rachel," Marcus said, his voice steady, but Emma could sense the urgency threading through his words. The doctor dashed towards the monitor, his brow furrowing deeper. Rachel took a small step back, a look of horror flashing across her face. She covered her mouth, stifling a gasp. "She'll be okay," Emma whispered, even as doubt crept in her own heart. She'd never faced anything this big, never stood on this precarious edge of hope and despair. Marcus moved to Rachel's other side, taking her hand, forming a protective circle around their friend. But as the doctor adjusted the machine, Emma's heart raced. Would it really be okay? "Rachel," the doctor called without looking away from the monitor. "I need you to talk to Rebecca. It might help. They can hear us, even if they can't respond." Rachel's lips parted, hesitating as uncertainty cloaked her words. "What do I say?" Her voice trembled so low, Emma could barely hear it. "From your heart," Marcus urged gently, his grip on Rachel firm but reassuring. "She needs to feel your love." Taking a deeper breath, Rachel stepped closer to the bed, her knees trepidatious against the cold linoleum. "Becca," she began, her voice breaking at the sound of her sister's name. "It's me, Rachel. I'm here. You're not alone. You've always been my best friend. You have to come back to me." Emma's throat tightened. She was on the precipice of tears, but she couldn't falter now. She wanted to be strong for both of them. "Remember our trip to the beach?" Rachel continued, her voice steadier now, rising above the beeping monitor. "You made me laugh so hard I nearly choked on salt water. Please just hold on for me. We have so many more memories to create." There was a shift in the room, a subtle change that made Emma feel light. It was as if that love belonged to the very air around them. She stole a glance at Marcus and saw his determined expression growing softer, as if he too could feel it. Rachel reached for Rebecca's hand and interlocked her fingers with her sister's. "I need you. We all need you." And then, against all odds, Rebecca's eyes fluttered briefly, a faint flicker that sent a pulse of adrenaline through the room. The monitor paused, silence momentarily halting the chaos. "Did you see that?" Emma gasped, an electrifying rush flooding her senses. "He heard you," Marcus said, his voice filled with awe. Rachel leaned closer, the tears truly falling now, her voice trembling. "I love you so much, Becca." Her words hung in the air, pregnant with meaning, the weight of them soaking into the room. The doctor finally turned toward them, eyes bright with a cautious optimism. "That was a positive sign. We need to keep her engaged. Keep talking to her. You're doing an incredible job." Rachel's face lit up for a moment, the tiniest spark of hope igniting within her. The trio shared a look that bound them, the situation still heavy, and yet hope had found a way to trickle in. But as the doctor shifted back to adjust the four, tension draped itself back over them like a shroud. What if this fleeting moment of hope didn't last? Rachel's expression faltered, fear creeping back in. "We won't let you go, Becca. We will fight this," Rachel promised, her voice breaking through the tension. But just as they all started to feel the buoyancy of that renewed hope, the heart monitor began to beep even louder, spiraling out of control again. "Something's wrong," Emma whispered, her heart racing once more. Would this glimmer of hope be extinguished before it could truly ignite? What lay ahead was yet unknown, and the battle for Rebecca's life was only just beginning. The heart monitor's frantic beeping grew louder, drowning out any remnants of fragile hope that had settled in the room. Emma's stomach churned as she exchanged panicked glances with Marcus, who looked as if he were holding his breath. Rachel's face, once filled with teetering optimism, now reflected an avalanche of fear. "Stay with us, Becca!" Rachel shouted, her voice breaking under the weight of her desperation. She squeezed her sister's hand tighter, as if her love could coax Rebecca back from the precipice. The doctor leaped into action, his fingers dancing over the controls with a frenetic urgency. Emma felt herself retreating, the sterile smell of antiseptic becoming too intense. She needed to do something, anything, to ground herself amidst the chaos. "Rachel, keep talking. Tell her stories. Remind her who she is," Emma urged, tapping into every ounce of strength she had left. She knew that connection could bridge the yawning chasm between life and death. Rachel nodded, the determination flickering in her eyes. "Do you remember the Halloween when we dressed as pirates? You refused to stop talking like a parrot the whole night. You were so annoying, but I loved it. We scared all the kids away." She laughed, tears streaming down her face, but it was a heartfelt laughter and echo of happy times. Emma closed her eyes for a moment, imagining those carefree days. She clung to Rachel as if they could will Rebecca back to life. But just as Rachel's voice gave birth to a wave of nostalgia, the monitor erupted into a cacophony of alarms, each beep a jagged reminder of their critical reality. "Focus, everyone," the doctor barked, fear lining his features as he worked. "Let us stabilize her vitals. Emma, I need you to help me." Before she could comprehend the shift in intensity, Emma stepped beside the doctor, heart racing. She grasped the 4-line with trembling hands, her focus narrowing to that single task. But in the midst of this high-stakes moment, something primal kicked in. "You can do this, Becca," she called out, her voice cutting through the whirlwind. "You fought through so much worse. Remember the time when you helped me get over my fear of heights? You told me to just take a step. Now, we're all taking a step together." Rachel took a deep breath, and Emma felt the warmth of her friend begin to bleed through the tension. "You're stronger than you know, Becca. I swear, we're not ready to let you go. You've got a million more memories to make with us." The doctor nodded, and suddenly, the heart monitor quieted, as if Rebecca sensed the weight of their words. Emma felt a flicker of hope ignite again, a beacon in the overwhelming darkness. Time seemed suspended as the doctor peered closer at Rebecca's face, adjusting the monitors. The air held a palpable tension, teetering between dread and the slender promise of survival. Every shadow on Rachel's face tugged at Emma's heart, pulling her painfully, yet resolutely deeper into the moment. "Please," Becca in that silence, as they all collectively took a breath. Rebecca's eyes fluttered again, lingering a fraction longer than before. Then, to everyone's astonishment, she opened them fully. "Rachel?" Her voice was a raspy whisper, but it was real. She was fighting. Emma's heart soared at that tiny miracle, while Rachel's face brightened with a mixture of hope and disbelief. "Yes, I'm right here," Rachel cried, inching closer, their hands still locked. But their joy was interrupted as the doctor's gaze pulled back sharply. "Rachel, stop. Don't let her get overwhelmed." "Wait, what?" Emma asked, unsure of what to feel. But just then a quick beeping from the monitor escalated, its rhythm now erratic like a wild animal trying to escape a trap. Rachel's hands trembled as Rebecca struggled to maintain focus. "I'm here," she murmured, her voice fading. "Don't you dare slip away, Becca," Emma shouted, desperate to reach her friend. The weight of reality crashed onto them. What if this spark of connection wasn't enough? Panic bubbled anew as the doctor's eyebrows knit together in concern. "We need to stabilize her. Quick, Rachel. Keep engaging her." But we must be careful. As Rachel clamored for words, Emma realized that the battle was far from over. Would they find a way through this dark tunnel, Or would they be left searching for something that could save them all? The tension in the air felt suffocating as Emma, Marcus, and Rachel stood at the precipice of desperation and hope. Rebecca's voice had been a whisper, a fragile thread barely holding them together. Emma's heart raced with urgency, her desire to help blossoming into determination. Every moment counted, and they needed to channel this energy into something powerful. Rachel, talk to her. Tell her all the things you love about her. Remind her of the good times, Emma urged, hot tears pooling in her eyes. Rachel leaned forward, her voice swelling with emotion. Becca, remember how we used to camp out in the backyard? You insisted we watch the stars while I was terrified of the dark. You said every star was a wish waiting for us to take. As she spoke, the heart monitor softened its frantic beeping, a tiny part of Emma urging that Rebecca could hear the words, reclaiming her strength piece by piece. It felt surreal, like wading through thick mist on a meadow during twilight. Remember the school play where you stole the show? You had everyone rolling in laughter. Rachel fought back the tears, choking on her words, but conviction surged as she continued. You are a light in this world, Becca. You will always be. Don't you dare let that light go out. Marcus added, his voice low yet sturdy. Emma felt the swell of unity gathering around them, the sheer force of their combined love lifting the gloom that encircled the room. And just as the weight of despair threatened to pull them under, Rebecca struggled to sit up slightly, confusion illuminating her eyes. I remember she breathed, the fight edging back in her voice. Tears streamed down Rachel's face. You're right here with us, Becca. You're not alone. In that heartbeat, Emma's heart soared. The realization hit her this was about more than survival. It was a testament to the love they shared, a pulse of connectivity that could reach beyond flesh and bone. But before they could fully grasp this moment, the heart monitor erupted again, a sharp, unexpected alarm sliced through their triumph. Doctor, Emma cried, fear crashing in. The doctor sprung to action, his fingers racing over the controls. We need to stabilize her now. Emma felt her breath hitch, the impending loss looming heavily. Would they lose this precious sliver of hope so easily? The weight in the room pressed on, each heartbeat echoing loudly in Emma's ears. It felt like the moments stretched for miles as they held their breath. Rachel stepped back, anxiety swirling in her eyes. Stay with us, Becca. You can do this. Emma shouted, gripping Rachel's shoulder tightly. The love they had forged was raw and powerful, illuminating the corners of fear that threatened to pull them apart. Words, Rachel. Speak to her. Marcus insisted, grounding them both once more. Taking a shaky breath, Rachel leaned closer. You have so many friends who need you, Becca. You got your family, us. Don't forget all the laughter, the memories. We need you to fight for them. Each heartfelt word echoed against the sterile walls of the room. Emma felt the air hum, thickening with hope intertwined with fear. Fight, Becca. We're all here. We will stand strong beside you, together. The doctor worked furiously, monitoring the machines with a keen focus, and for the first time, he looked up, his brow slightly unknotted. She's stabilizing. We're not out of the woods yet, but this is promising. Rachel's face lit with a glimmer of determination. Together, they could help Rebecca reclaim her voice, reclaim her strength. Just then, an explosion of sound echoed through the open door, drawing their attention briefly. The chaotic hospital corridor buzzed with families, patients, and urgency abuzz in the air, each struggling through their own battles. But here in this room, they remained focused on providing Rebecca the love that would permeate through the clutches of fear. Emma shared an intense glance with Marcus, a realization dawning upon them both. Their fight wasn't just about saving one person. It extended to the entire community, igniting the flames of hope and resilience within everyone. Rachel regained her balance, rising with newfound resolve. What if she started? What if we do this together? We can unite everyone outside, share our stories, turn this darkness into strength. We need to support those who are fighting. Absolutely, Emma agreed, her voice unwavering. Let us start with a vigil, a way to honor those fighting, to let them know they're not alone, and to encourage each other. Hope surged in the room, entwined with determination. Together, they could bridge the vast chasm of despair. As Emma turned back to Rebecca, she whispered, "We'll create a space filled with love, strength, and remembrance. We will fight." Rebecca's eyes fluttered open wider then, taking in their faces, catching onto the determination swirling around her like threads of bright light. Fight together? Her voice was so weak, but filled with a sense of longing. "Yes, Becca, together we will fight." Emma reassured her, her heart swelling with unity. Tears of joy and determination coursed down Rachel's cheeks as she leaned down, her heart full to the brim. "You fight, and we will stand together every step of the way." Laughter burst out of Rachel as they embraced and joy. This was a moment reborn. Love pressed against the jagged edges of fear. Outside the hospital, in the heart of Maplewood, families gathered, drawn together by stories of resilience. Emma felt the fire of their journey ignite like fireworks sparking high and wide. "That it," Marcus said, his energy contagious. "Let us bring everyone together out there. We can start supporting the hospital, the families, those who need hope and healing." With renewed purpose, the trio exited the hospital room, glancing back with warmth, knowing Rebecca's fight had just begun and they would fight together. They opened the door to a wave of people, emotions swirling wildly, but echoing the call to come together. This was just the beginning of a powerful quest, an intertwining of stories that could reshape their community and spark flames of hope everywhere. As they stepped out of the tumultuous building, Emma knew that a new journey awaited. And for them, this ride was only beginning. Their lives would forever be entwined, wrestling through the chaos, emerging together, transformed. They had ignited their community, the light driven by love and hope. And this was just the start. Now, I need all of you to step up. Subscribe immediately to the channel so you don't miss the next heartwarming stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these messages alive. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this inspiring ending. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Together, we can make a difference.